What up, what up, what up? RJ Fantasy Football Talk, and we're back again with a 40-second play clock. This is week 3. You already know who I am, Rodney. You already know who he is, JJ.
What's up?
What's going on, bro?
Nothing too much going on here. Ready to do some more breakdowns and defend my lead. You falling behind. You're taking the early L's in these game things. But
that's all right. I'm gonna redeem myself. I'm gonna try to redeem myself this week. So we're gonna work on that.
Yeah.
So
getting your fantasy picks is more important than these NFL game picks. But it's just awesome that I'm being awesome. So
I mean, I guess if you want to say that, but it's fine. It's cool.
Good.
I mean, we can start off with you this week. What you got?
All right, I'm going to get things started with the Washington football team at the Browns. And I think this whole game is going to get down to whether the Washington football defense is going to be able to stop that run game. We saw Chubb and Hunt finally get off to a good game at the same time. So I expect they'll still be able to do well against this defense. But you're going to temper your expectations for Baker Mayfield as well as the receivers, Jarvis and OBJ, because that pass rush is going to give Baker Mayfield some problems. We're going to see him go back to earth a little bit. But they're going to put this game in the hands of the running backs. I do like Scary Terry for the Washington football team. And maybe Antonio Gibson having his breakout.
Well, I like that pick. I'm going with Cleveland too. I think the running game is just going to be too much for not from the front four, but I just think just in general, I think they got it going last week. I think they continue getting it going. Yeah. And like you say, Baker Mayfield, I think I'm not a fan of him, so I don't think he shows up that much this week. It's all about the running game now. That's how they win. That's how they're going to win.
That is how they win this game. It's all going to be that running thing.
All about the running game.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and jump into mine. I'm going to start where I always start. I'm going to start with the 49ers. They're playing the New York Giants this week. And my impact players for this game, with no Raheem Mostert, is going to be Jared McKinnon, Jordan Reed, George Kittle if he plays, and Brandon Ayuk has to have a big game this week with the receivers being kind of shorthanded. For the Giants, it's Daniel Jones, Darius Slayton, and Evan Ingram. With no Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton has to step up. I'm picking the 49ers to win this game. And you just got to be careful with that turf, so no more injuries.
Yeah, that was the big problem last week. Do you like? Well, let me ask you another way. How do you think the Saquon Barkley replacement goes?
Freeman, I don't think he doesn't make an impact this week because he's just coming on. He's probably not in NFL shape. Anybody else, I don't think they're doing anything, honestly. Yeah. So
that's going to be interesting to see because it's not like that offense was really doing well with Saquon Barkley.
Anyway.
So we have to wait and see. At any rate, I go to my next. No, go ahead.
I think the passing game is going to be kind of the thing they work on now, honestly. So that's what I think of.
Okay. All right, so let me go to my favorite team. I'm going to just celebrate for a few seconds the fact that I called the Raiders upset last week. Unfortunately, I'm picking against them this week. I think having the short week and then going across the country over to New England, they get the best. I think the Patriots will get the best of them in this game. I think Cam Newton is going to go lights out crazy. He's going to have the kind of game I think people wanted Drew Brees to have last week. So Edelman and N'Keal Harry are my big plays for them. Of course, we're going to see the same production as far as the Raiders are concerned. We're going to see a lot of Waller. I don't usually pick this guy, but I think Ruggs even has a really big game because I think he can beat them outside with his speed. So watch out for him. Of course, Josh Jacobs.
I love the New England Patriots pick. I think Julian Edelman, even though he's playing the slot, he's not starting really now, but he's coming in on that 3 wide receiver set. He's still getting those receptions. He's getting his targets.
Right.
So I think him and Cam is building this chemistry that is going to be really big. So I think Edelman is going to be really, really impact player this game. That's out of that game. So.
Yeah. I think the Raiders showed that their secondary is awful. They're young, so it's supposed to be awful. But I think Cam is going to take big advantage of that this week.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead on my next game, and this is a pretty big game. It's Cowboys at Seahawks. Impact players, obviously, from the Cowboys, is Prescott, Amari Cooper, Zeke Elliott. This from Seattle, Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Chris Carson. This was a tough one for me. I'm gonna go with Seattle on this one because the Cowboys was down to the Atlanta Falcons, who they should have beat handily last week, and they had to kind of come back. But I do think it's gonna be a close game with Seattle pulling it out by like 3. So I'm rolling with Seattle.
Oh, pulling the upset. I was just certain you were going to pick the Cowboys on this one. I'm also going Seahawks, as you know. Don't jinx them by picking them, though, because you haven't picked the Seahawks this whole time. that could be your evil plan, right?
That's the idea. So, yeah.
At any rate, let me go to my next game. I'm talking about the Rams at the Bills. Hey, I told y'all I'm all on team Josh Allen right now. The one thing he's doing spectacularly right now is his passing efficiency. He was the worst in passing efficiency last year as far as completions. This year, he's been over 65%, easy 70% in one game. So I think this is going to be a hard game for the Bills. The best competition they've faced thus far, but I still think they get it on Josh Allen. Going to be getting it done, not just with his arm, but with his legs. I think Devin Singletary has a big game with Zach Moss out. I do like the Rams receiver Cooper Kupp, and I think Higbee has another big game for that team. And if I didn't mention it, the Bills are winning that.
Yeah. I am picking the Rams to win this one. I think this is, like you say, this is the most competition that the Bills have had since the season started. I'm not going to say Josh Allen comes down to earth, but I think he's not going to have that 400-yard game like he had last week. I think kind of tempers down a little bit. He'll hit 300 because I think it's going to be a lot of passing in that game. Yeah. But I think the Bills, they lose a close one.
I think the interesting matchup is going to be how much Jalen Ramsey's on Stephon Diggs, because that could bring that little connection down to reality a little bit more. I think you still play Diggs, obviously. He's been doing really well, but I think that's going to be the matchup that determines perhaps the whole game.
Yeah, definitely. My next game is the Packers versus the Saints. Obviously, your game breakers for that one is Aaron Rodgers and Jones if Devontae Adams play. Right now, they're saying he may not play. So, and then you got for the Saints, you got Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, and you got Michael Thomas if he plays. I'm going with the Packers on this one. The way the Saints look Monday night, it kind of scares me a little bit playing without Michael Thomas. It seems like they can't get the receivers the ball for some reason. I don't know what it is, but Kamara definitely balled out. But I think the Packers edge him out just a tad bit. Aaron Rodgers is going to do him, and Drew Brees got to play a little bit more.
Hey, he can't play worse than he did last week. I think, like you said, Michael Thomas, that's the factor that I think the Saints need. I don't think he's really going to play. I'm not really confident that he plays this week, so I'm also picking the Packers. If by some miracle Thomas comes in, I might change that pick. But right now, I'm with you, Packers all the way on that one. All right, the next game I'm going to talk about is going to be the Texans and the Steelers. And unfortunately, this is the third week in a row that Deshaun Watson is not going to be good. That pass rush is going to give them problems. We haven't even seen that Texas offense look good without Hopkins there. So, hey, bench all. The only person I really like for the Texans is potentially David Johnson. Otherwise, I'm going Big Ben having a huge game. as well as picking Deontay Johnson and Juju Smith-Schuster. I think James Conner even has a really good game. He didn't really get off until like the very end of that last game, but I think he'll have better luck with the Texans. Steelers defense, they're gonna make some noise. Steelers are winning. I keep forgetting to say the team I'm picking. Steelers.
It's okay. We already knew that.
But it was kind of implied from the way I was talking about it. But
we already knew that anyway. I'm going with the Steelers on this one. I will say about the David Johnson thing, they say he had 100% of the carries last week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's probably the Deshaun Watson. He just had some tough matchups. We discussed this Wednesday, and I feel bad for him, but that defense is just too much. I think rolling with David Johnson is probably the best thing. I mean, if you're in a 2-quarterback league, you're going to definitely roll with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, you have to play him at that point. But if you're in one quarterback, you have options. He's not the guy. But hey, good news for y'all. They play the Vikings next week, so it gets better.
Gets better after that. So definitely, I'm gonna go ahead and roll into my next one. I have the Bengals versus the Eagles. I would say this is a horrible game, but it's really not. It's just the Eagles have not played well. But you have from the Bengals, as far as your impact players, you got Joe Burrow, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. From Philadelphia, you have Carson Wentz, Zach Ertz, and Dallas Goedert. I'm picking the Eagles to win this game. They have to get it under. They got to get it going at some point. I just think with the receivers getting hurt, they have no receivers. So your 2 tight ends is definitely going to get a bunch of work. And Joe Burrow is going to throw the ball 55 times anyway. It's just going to be a shootout. I feel like Carson Wentz kind of shows up a little bit this week too.
Yeah, if Carson Wentz can't get things going against the Bengals, there's no hope for the rest of the year. So let's see, who did I pick for that game? I'm gonna say the Eagles finally get a win and they finally maybe look like a decent football team.
Definitely.
Hopefully. But
yeah.
All right. So my next game is gonna be the Jets and the Colts, and this game bores me to tears. I don't like hardly anyone here. I guess gun to my head. I do like Jonathan Taylor because I think we saw last week he's ready for the prime time. I'd like as a sneaky pick Zach Pascal, who's going to be filling in for Paris Campbell, who's out for this game. Other than that, I have 20 seconds to talk about how much I don't like either of these quarterbacks because neither one has been good thus far. And quite frankly, that's just nothing on. I'm done. I'm just going to go back to you. I'm going to cede my time. The game is awful. I guess the Colts win because the Colts are the only game I missed last week, so I pick them this week. But that's just an awful game. It's just awful.
I'm going with the Colts.
Yeah.
They should win. I mean, they should.
Yeah,
they should.
What else can you say? Like, are you gonna get? I guess you can try. I can't even get excited. What is that noise?
No.
Okay, it's all good. I guess I can try to get excited about wide receivers for the. No, I can't. I can't do it.
There's nothing there.
So
don't try. Just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's just awful.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Your game.
And my next game is the Tennessee Titans versus the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going with Tennessee Titans on this one. I think Derrick Henry's going to have a monster game. Also, the other impact players is Ryan Tannehill, Corey Davis, A.J. Brown, if he plays. And for Minnesota, you got Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook. The Vikings looked really bad last week. Kirk Cousins looked extra bad last week. And I think it's going to be the same this week. I think he's a little overrated in my book. So I just feel like Tennessee going to pull this thing out. They just got too much for him. So that's my take.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins was giving people like negative 20 points in some leagues last week. Kirk Cousins is toast. I mean, It's just sad. But yeah, there's nothing to like. Dalvin Cook, they just need to keep giving them the ball. That's their only hope. That's their only hope. All right, so now I'm going to talk Bears and Falcons. And the one thing we've learned is the Falcons cannot play defense. So any quarterback that faces them is a stud. So Mitch Trubisky is going to have the game of his life. put in, hey, I'm just saying, put in David Montgomery, put in Allen Robinson, put in Anthony Miller. I don't care who, if they catch the ball, put them in because the Falcons are just pathetic. But despite that, I picked them finally winning their first game. I think they get it done. Matt Ryan's just unstoppable, and everybody that plays for wide receivers. Similarly, and if you catch the ball for the Falcons, you're going to have a great game. Russell Gage. Is Julio Jones playing? I know he's been kind of iffy, but if he's not injured, he's playing. Calvin Ridley, just offense everywhere this game. Everywhere.
I'm hearing that Julio Jones has not practiced.
Yeah.
You know how Julio is. Julio gonna play through that.
Right.
So,
but how well he plays is gonna be the question.
Yeah.
Right.
It's an ankle injury. Last week he was like 2 receptions, 24 yards. So. Yeah. I think he plays this week just because he fights through injuries,
right?
Like that all the time. So he might gonna be a decoy, more likely for Russell Gage and Calvin Ridley. So right. I think he plays though. So definitely.
Yeah. So even if he doesn't play, I still think the Falcons win the game because, quite frankly, Hayden Hurst can even put up numbers. So exactly. it's just this. But yeah, Trubisky, if you got him, this is the week to play him because
definitely
it's gonna be a fun fantasy game. Might not be that great in real life, but but fantasy, you can get some points off of it.
Exactly. Yeah. My next game is the Carolina Panthers versus the LA Chargers. I am going with the LA Chargers on this. I think the impact players is Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry. For Carolina, Teddy Bridgewater, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. I think Justin Herbert coming in the lineup was a breath of fresh air for those guys. You can even throw in a Mike Williams. I just think they have so much more upside when he's in the game over Tyrod. I love Tyrod, Virginia guy, but I just think he has more upside with all of them have more upside with Justin Herbert in the game. So I'm picking the Chargers to win the game.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. What do you think about Mike Davis filling in for CMC while he's out?
I think Mike Davis, because they're going to be losing, I think Mike Davis is going to, because he had 8 receptions for like 72 yards last week. So I think he's going to do fairly good numbers. I just think in a losing cause.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I have the Chargers winning that game as well. I think the rookie gets his first win, and then Tyrod's job is lost forever, like you said.
Pretty much.
Curse that doctor that stabbed him in the lungs, but whatever.
Man, that's terrible.
That's awful.
Yes.
All right, next I'm talking about the Bucs and the Broncos, and I don't know what the Broncos are gonna do without Cortland Sutton and without Drew Lock, but lose to Tom Brady and the Bucs. What I'm excited about is Leonard Fournette. He finally took that job. I think Ronald Jones is, from this point forward, irrelevant. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are going to be back. Maybe not at full health, but they're both going to be playing this week. So it should be a good game. But I think this is a run game just because the Broncos are going to get completely trashed, I think, and so that just leaves more room for Leonard Fournette. If I haven't said his name enough times, Leonard Fournette. He's to play this week.
I'm with you on that. I'm taking Tampa Bay. I think Leonard Fournette from last week I think he took the job.
Yeah, he only had, 12 carries or something like that? 12, 16? I can't remember the exact number, but it was
16, carries.
It was very few carries. And this week, I think he gets plus 20, and he's going to go off on that team. Right.
Ronald Jones is, I have to throw it down.
Well, he might, because they're going to, I think, win this game by so much. Maybe Ronald Jones gets some, second half action, but probably not. This is Leonard Fournette's team.
Yeah, Leonard Fournette is going to get all his carries. He's going to go over 100 yards. He probably get a couple touchdowns. Yeah. I'm definitely taking Tampa Bay on this one, so I'm going with that. I'm going to roll into my game. I got the Lions versus the Cardinals. And impact players for Detroit will be Matthew Stafford, Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones. I don't trust any of the running backs. For Arizona, Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, That connection is amazing. I'm going with the Cardinals on this one, but I think Matthew Stafford has a pretty good game with Galladay coming back. He did practice on a limited basis today. So he should, if he get another good practice in tomorrow, I think he will be all right to play for the weekend. So I'm still rolling with the Cardinals on that one. Hurts my heart.
Yo, real talk. I've heard people talk about the Cardinals might win the NFC West this year. What you think about that?
Not true. I don't think
I kind of figured you would not agree with that.
I don't agree with that. I think that division is, in all seriousness, I think that division is too tough.
Right.
We all the teams gonna beat up on each other at some point.
Yeah.
It's just the Cardinals are a little bit more healthier than other teams right now, but I think it's only one game apart in the division right now, even though in the early part of the season. So it could come down to all 4 teams in that division fighting for that number 1 spot. So nobody's running away with it.
Yeah, that is for certain. That's the most interesting division to watch. So
yeah, definitely.
All right. Let me wrap it up with the last game, the best game. We got the Chiefs and the Ravens. The over-under on this is like 54.5, I think. I would not be surprised if this hits over 70 points. The last time these teams met, it was an offensive fireworks show, and it's going to be the same thing this time. I really like J.K. Dobbins this game. I think this is where he shows, hey, I'm the better running back than Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who had a great first week, but J.K. Dobbins is going to – the Chiefs can't stop the run. They can't stop anything, really. But they're going to especially be susceptible to that run game with Lamar Jackson and J.K. Dobbins. You know who to play in that one. Tyreek Hill, Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, quarterbacks. Great game. I think the Chiefs actually pull out a surprise win and win this one in Baltimore. I might have people ready to storm my house saying that since I live in Baltimore. But I think the Chiefs pull this one off. Slightly.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens on this one.
That's the smart money. That's the smart money. But
I think the Ravens defense is a little bit better.
Than the Chiefs Ravens defense, well, a little bit better. I think they're a lot better.
They're a lot better. I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to be probably a high-scoring game, but I think the Ravens defense is going to show up when it needs to show up and make that one stop that they need. So I'm going with the Ravens on this one, but it's going to be close.
Flip a coin. It's going to be very close. It's only like a 3.5 point spread between the two. But here's the cool fact I meant to mention. They've played twice with Lamar Jackson and Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes has won both games with the Chiefs. So this is going to be Lamar's chance to break that streak, but I don't think it happens. I think we see, hopefully this time in the playoffs, we get to see these teams matched up. We missed out on seeing that last year, but they'll meet again, I think, in the playoffs. So.
I'm going with Baltimore on this one. This is the one we're not going to agree on. So I'm definitely going with Baltimore. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. No problem with that. So, hey, that's it. That's your 40-second play clock for this week. We're gonna see how these games go. Good luck to everybody as you fill out your fantasy rosters for this weekend. I'm ready to see how these Jaguars and Dolphins do.
Let's go do some homework.
All right, bro. I'll see you later. Peace.